Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the monthly Business of You. I am your host, Michelle Griffin, personal brand advisor, and I'm here to help you build your brand to grow your business. Now, I'm coming to you today with a question I get asked all the time with my clients on LinkedIn. I have a personal brand. I'm building my personal brand or business that has me as the brand. Do I need a company page? Why do I need a company page? Well, guess what? The short answer is yes. The long answer is coming up. I am super excited after a year trying to get her, my friend Michelle Raymond, all the way from Sydney, Australia. I got her here, and we are going to talk how to build your personal brand business by putting your company page and growing your company page on LinkedIn. So, in 1 second, I'll bring her on. Here we go. Welcome to the Business of You podcast, the show dedicated to helping service entrepreneurs build a better brand to grow a bigger business. I'm your host, Michelle Griffin, and I'm here each week empowering you to put yourself out there, sharing actionable tips and inspiring stories so you can create your personal brand, grow your dream business, and build your future, all while making more income and more impact doing exactly what you love. I'm super excited you're here. Now let's get going with today's show. All right, well, here we are. And look, it's Michelle from Sydney, Australia. How are you, Michelle? Welcome to the show.
After that introduction, honestly, that is the best introduction. So thank you. So it's so good to be here. It really has taken us a year to get back on, right? And you and I do so much in the background. So it's so nice to actually do something where other people can share how we interact and what we've learned from each other. Because you've taught me so much about branding. I'm pretty excited to have this conversation today.
Well, the power of Michelle squared, as we say. We actually, for all of you who probably don't know this, we met in the comments section a year ago. We got on a Zoom call, and here we are today. And we have been trying with her 15-hour time difference for me in Florida and her in Sydney to make this work. And so I am here today. I get asked this all the time. So let's just jump right into it, Michelle. And by the way, Michelle is what? You want to introduce yourself? I think I forgot to give you that introduction.
It's no worries. So Michelle J. Raymond, I am the Chief Social Strategist at Good Trading Co., which is my company, and we specialize in all things LinkedIn company pages. So excited to be here because I know from my side as well, I get asked so much why do I need to, why have a company page or company branding if personal branding is so popular and works so well on LinkedIn? Why do we need both? So I'm sure that there's some people listening in thinking, shouldn't they be nemesises? They're on opposite sides, but we're here. The power of Michelle's is also the power of, personal branding and company branding, right?
Absolutely. And we work hand in hand because we know, why do we do this? They work together in tandem. And that's kind of the spoiler alert, but you have so many words of wisdom. I want to jump right in. If I have a personal brand, tell me, do I need a company page? Why? And let's get into it. And I really told Michelle before we got it live, I really want to focus on some of the tricks of the trade that you're going to tell us on the content strategy, positioning, all those things that are so huge to blend the two. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, awesome. And so what I actually look at, and I get asked, as I said, the same question that you get asked, but on the other side. So why do I need one? So at the very, very, very minimum, how it's going to help you with your personal branding, if you are a solopreneur or a small business owner, you need a company page for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to talk at the very minimum. At one side, we're really lucky that LinkedIn search actually shows up in search results on Google really high. So if someone Googles your business name, they are going to find that LinkedIn result right up at the top. So you don't have to pay for it. It's free to set up a page. So that is like a bare minimum. For your personal branding on LinkedIn, you're also going to actually see that if you update your work experience, we're going to have the little logo. We're going to have other opportunities for your company name and logo to show up in different places. And it's another way, I just call it little signposts for people to get back to your business. So that's at the bare minimum level. This is the thing where I say to everyone, it takes you like half an hour to set up a company page. You have nothing to lose by having it sit there at a bare minimum for your personal branding. There is nothing to lose and everything to gain. So what happens if you're a solopreneur? I think the main concern, Michelle, that people have is actually the time that needs to be
Yes.
invested in running two streams. Is that what you find on your side as
Yes.
well? Do you think that's the real concern? Not whether they need
Absolutely.
it,
I think
but
time and what do I post,
yeah.
and those kind of go hand in hand because they're like, if I just spend all my time making content for me, what the heck am I going to say on my company page? So I have some
Yeah.
ideas, but I want to hear you. I want to hear your take on it.
Look, and one of the things that you said before, and you and I are in total alignment with this, is I call it, with having a company page and a personal profile, it's the power of 1+1=3. Like it's
Mhm.
the two of them used in conjunction is where the power comes from. So in my experience, just running company pages without interaction from employees doesn't work as great as when you've got everyone on board. So when you have the whole team working towards it, the
Mhm.
power is just, so much better. So from that perspective, I just absolutely love finding ways that, for a solopreneur, it works just
Mhm.
the same. So
Mhm.
I use my company page to build up my personal brand, and I use my personal brand to build up my company
Mm.
page. Now, if
Okay.
you want another good example, because I know I love to share examples to highlight other companies that do this well. Shield is
Mhm.
best known for their stats on profiles, essentially, and all around that side of the platform. But if you go and have a look at their company page, they do an amazing job of actually highlighting staff posts, highlighting
Mhm.
what the team's up to, and they help to build both. The more
Mhm.
prevalent Shield is, the more it helps those people, and vice versa. So this is how I use it, and one of like a quick tip on how I do that exactly, because sometimes
Mhm.
people are like, Michelle, like, how do you actually do that? Like, what does it mean you use one to promote the other and vice versa? So one of the ways that I do it is I don't have a personal hashtag, right? So I don't use
Mhm.
anything to do with my name. What I do on the bottom of my post is say,
Mhm.
follow at Good Trading Co. So it's an at
That's right.
mention and
Okay.
drive people back over to my page. Now, why would I do that instead of a hashtag, right? So, because there's a lot of people out there that say a personal branded hashtag has benefits. But what I say is if you send them over to your company page, we have lots more tools, like, for
Mhm.
instance, in inviting people to events, running lives, like basically you can have a lot more analytics within the
Yes.
platform. You have different methods that you can connect with people. And I like to think of my company page as my concentrated people who are interested in what I do.
That's
So
true.
versus my personal brand, much broader and not as targeted. So finding the best out of both is where the
Mhm.
real benefits come from. So there are things that, on your personal page, you can get bigger reach, I think is the right words I'm
Absolutely.
looking for. So, and I can't compete with that as a small business on a company page. But when we use both of them, and it's just where the power comes from.
You bring up
Uh,
such good points, and I want to bring from perspective of, visibility, credibility, authority. And I see this all the time when I help people on their profiles. If you don't LinkedIn, I always said LinkedIn makes you have a bad choice. Okay,
yeah.
you either do a company page and you got to fill it up. It's not a bad choice, but for
Mm,
them it's like, oh, another thing to do. To me, the worst thing is you leave it blank and you have what
uh,
you once told me is a little gray buildings.
mm,
So LinkedIn makes you have a page because I say get that branded logo. It looks so
yep.
much better in your name and then in your profile. But I have seen so many people that just put their company and then just have the great thing. And I think that looks worse from a visuals perspective, because when you
Yeah.
click it on, there's nothing there. This
Yep.
shows you're credible and have a real business, if you
That's
have a
right.
company page. It really, people are going to check you out. And then also, too, I always go check out someone's page and go to their website. So if you have a company page, because there they let you just easily link. And yes, you can do it in the
Mm.
contact stuff, but it's just a natural there. So for conversion and credibility, I think that's another reason to add to the list.
Yeah, and the thing is, the absence of information is a brand as well, and this is what I
Mhm.
say to people, by not having something there, that says something about your business.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that you can afford to ignore your digital brand in any space. You
No.
can choose your platforms, but if you ignore parts of your, for instance, your company branding, you may have spent like $10,000 getting a brand new website and all the bells and whistles. But if you meet someone on LinkedIn and they're clicking through your profile and they say, okay, this is your company, and they go directly to your LinkedIn page, which is the natural place to go when you're on LinkedIn, then what happens is they come across and they go, what's going on here? Like, it's
Mhm.
invisible, and it breaks trust. So for me,
Exactly.
what happens is if I see great buildings, immediately I think, is this real? Now, I like to flip things into the positive, and show people what the actual other side to this coin is. And the other benefit is, if you spend half an hour, create the LinkedIn page, whether you're a solopreneur or Netflix with 8 million, nearly 9 million followers on LinkedIn, you get the same banner size, you get the same
Yes.
amount for your headline, the same logo size. It's not a pay to play platform. So
Mhm.
you can do so much for free and compete evenly with like someone like, Netflix or,
Mhm.
other big companies. So where else, and please feel free to tell me if you've come across it, in the B2B space, there is no other platform
Mm-mm.
that doesn't make
There
pay to
isn't.
play. Like,
No, absolutely.
we are in a prime time where we get to have reach organically. So, i.e., we don't have to spend anything. So, I tell people, start building this, even if you've tried pages. If you haven't tried pages in 2021, you need to go back and have another look,
Yes.
because here's why.
They've changed.
LinkedIn have just released their quarterly report, and their amount of money that their revenue is coming from ads is just going through the roof. I think it's up like 60% or something
Mhm. Mhm.
crazy. So what does that mean for, why am I talking about it? Well, what it actually means is, if ad spend's going up, that only happens if someone has a company page. So if I'm
Mm.
LinkedIn and I'm sitting back and I'm going, where's my money coming from? My money comes from more people spending on ads. You can't spend on ads unless you have a company page. And so, of
Mhm.
course, they're going to make them more attractive and reward and put money into where that revenue is coming from.
Good
And, I
point.
talk directly to the product team, and that
Mhm.
is absolutely what's going on at LinkedIn right
Really?
now.
Okay.
Mm,
That's so good to
mm,
know. Yeah. So
mm,
if you don't have whoever's listening, please put in the live or in the hashtag, just do a company page because,
mm,
like you said, the benefits are there. But let's get into the content, the strategy. How
mm.
often should someone post if it's just really them or a small team? I mean, what's good? I mean, people ask us all the time, how much should I post on my personal page? But realistically, what's a good starting point for company pages?
Look, what I would say to people is, I don't want you to burn out. I know what
Mhm.
it's like to be in a small business or a solopreneur where you've got 50 different hats on. So, my recommendations are typically what you can do consistently. So, if that's just one post a week at the beginning, totally okay. Just make sure that what you're doing is valuable to other people, so that if they come across your page, then they're going to find something and get a feel for the kind of business that you are. So, even if it's once a month, it's still better than a ghost town,
Yes.
because we're all taught to, before we do any business transaction, I don't know about you, but all we do is jump on Google. We look at the Google reviews,
Yep.
TripAdvisor, restaurant reviews. Every business gets reviewed. And it's no different on LinkedIn. That behavior doesn't change when you're on that platform. So just give people a sense of who you are. Ideally, I would say like 3 times a week if you have the resources to cover that. But for
Okay.
most small businesses, even once is enough, but consistently. Don't skip
Mhm.
weeks. Don't disappear. Don't go hard because you listened into this great live and then went away all inspired. And then when post this week, and then 2 weeks later it's back to ghost town. So consistency is key, as I'm sure that you would say for
Yeah.
on the personal
Yeah.
branding side.
Absolutely. What can you schedule on a company page? I believe yeah, you can. Yeah. So you could do that, but then you still can't tag people and do all the normal things you want to do. So
Yeah.
if that helps, do you at least encourage people to schedule and then go in and then, tweak it at that point?
Yeah, look, absolutely. You've got to make this thing work for the long term, and so finding ways. So for me, I use Social Pilot to schedule all of my clients' work, and I do that because the times that it's best to post aren't always the times that my brain's creative. And I find when
Mhm.
you sit down and batch posts and do them in a row, it's much easier and more
That's
productive
true.
than I wake up today and think, what will I post? Because I often
Yes.
find when I do that, life gets busy, businesses
Yes.
get busy, and then I forget and I don't get around to doing my posting. Now, I'm not as dedicated as you are. 300 posts. This is what, 301 are you up to now
Well, yeah,
in a
technically
row?
301. I started December 31st, but I just said 300 for January 1st. Yeah, 65 more
Yeah,
days. Yay.
that is epic, like epic, 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 and that, how much effort that takes,
Yes.
that's huge. And you think, oh, a post only takes a little bit of time. Why can't you just do it every day? It's not that hard. It's in here, right? When you've got the rest of your business that you've got to go on. So for
It
me,
absolutely is.
it's just,
But you make time for it like everything else,
if
That's
it's a
what you got to do.
priority, right? But
Exactly.
what I find is sometimes solopreneurs are technical experts, they're subject matter experts, often been in the field for a long period of time and have gone out on their own as consultants. And it may not be that social media is a part of that expertise,
Yeah.
especially different age groups, 50 plus. I find a lot of women walk away from social media because they're like, we didn't grow up with that. We're not really
Mhm.
confident. And it takes away from their subject matter expertise, which is why I'm so passionate about changing that conversation for these women, especially. I find, are a bit, like on the back foot with, social media. But when I say that, look, you're amazing, when you start pulling out all of those unique selling points about these,
Mhm.
people, you go, I want the whole world to know what you're doing, and this
Absolutely.
is part of where company pages and personal branding can come in and
Absolutely. And
help.
one of the problems, I don't want to call attention to everyone, but tell me what's good content that gets engagement, because
Mm,
I see when people get amiss about LinkedIn in general or their company page, they're just sharing article links from Forbes or
mm,
Inc. or something. And that doesn't really work anymore. Maybe back in the day when LinkedIn just started and the world wasn't
mm.
congested like we are now, that is not going to land on LinkedIn, like
Yeah.
the way you want it, or you can organically. So tell me what you've seen working with all your small business clients and yourself, building the pages. What content styles, themes, formats? Just give us all the good content goods. That's where we need the most help.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you the strategy that makes life really easy for people to follow to get the most out of a company page. So, and LinkedIn calls it, it's not mine. I should rebrand it and come up with my own, but I
Yeah.
really love how they've put this, right? So don't kill me. We'll come up with my own branded one time. But
Yes.
this one's from LinkedIn and I love it, right? Which is why I share it so openly. So, and it's called the 3-2-1 strategy. And this
Okay.
is how I run my content. So if you have 6 posts, so 3-2-1 adds up to 6 posts over the space of 2 weeks in this particular example, but you can stretch it, right? Just follow the pattern. So
Mm-hmm.
three posts in that 2-week period would be about big picture. So what are industry trends? What are regulations that have changed? What's impacting your market? Maybe there's a shortage of supply because there's, 5 billion shipping containers sitting off the coast. All these kind of things that show your knowledge of what's going on in the bigger picture. What are
Okay.
the industry trends that you can see? So it might be sustainability is a big macro trend that's going on. How do we save the planet and how that relates back to your business? So think about big picture. That shows your subject matter knowledge and what's going on, and you're ahead of the game. So, but if we just do all of that, it's so boring. It
Yeah.
can be just monotonous, right? So we've got to mix it up a little bit. And this is where we come to the 2 posts in the 2 weeks
Okay.
are going to be around feel good. So what is at the heart of your business? So what I mean by that is behind the scenes. If you want to know the number one type of content that works on company pages, grab your phone, grab a photo of any person in your business doing anything. They could be
Really?
mopping a floor, they could be sitting at a desk. Like I could take a photo like this, and I'm going to do it and I will post this one. Just smile for the record. Yeah, done. And what will happen is people will see our faces and they will go, oh, it's Michelle and Michelle. And they will tie that back to the business.
It
Absolutely.
humanizes the business, right? Yeah.
Birthday celebrations, employee milestones. Don't forget, if you're doing things for your corporate social responsibility or you're
Yes,
a
that's good.
purpose-led business, that's where this fits in. And
That's
then
great.
once per fortnight, don't forget to tell people about your products and services. Now, this is what happens on LinkedIn all the time. We talk about
Yes.
adding value, adding value, adding value, and we've been brainwashed into thinking that it's not okay to tell people about what you actually do and how you solve those problems. And then what happens is people are like, yes, I know I've got that need. I know I've got that need. Michelle's top of mind. Yep, absolutely. But no, Michelle's never said anything about what she offers to solve that challenge. So on your company page, and you should do it on your personal anyway, if that's all you're
Mhm.
running, but don't forget to tell people the products that you have that solve their pain points, and I'm guilty of
Mhm.
this one. It's the one I always forget to include. When I'm busy, I go back to, oh, I'll share more about what I know about LinkedIn, and it's like the people on the other side don't care about that. They
Mhm.
care about how your business is going to solve their challenges.
Oh,
So
that's exactly
don't
exactly
forget to
right.
include it.
You bring up a good point, but I want to counter with what I hear too. A lot of people don't want to be salesy or
Yeah.
overly promotional. So, what are your ways to make the subtle ask or the
Mm,
not so subtle ask in a way that's
mm,
not going to be offensive to people or whatever? Is there a way to do
yeah.
it that you suggest?
Yeah. And on company pages, there's almost a level of expectation that that's going to
Hmm.
happen, because they're not following a company page for fun. Like nobody
Yeah.
follows Good Trading Co. because they like me, or maybe a few people do, but they want to know about company pages. They want to know what's the latest that's happening, if they want training, those kind of things. That's why you come over here. It's a niche, it's concentrated, it's a small community. And
Hmm.
so they're there to find out information on that topic, and so when on a company page, my advice is keep it small, keep it niche, and keep talking to that real targeted audience. And so they do want to be sold to. It's different on your personal profile. And yeah, I agree with all the things. Like I'm not going to connect with you and then say, hey, buy my stuff. All those
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
typical etiquette rules apply. But what I find is if you've built up and now all of a sudden I have this need because you've educated me or inspired me to take action, and then I'm a bit lost as to, well, what do I do about this now?
Yep.
You are actually doing your page followers a disservice by not sharing with them how you can take that pain away,
That's great.
and
Yeah.
so, like if we reframe it, and look at it as we just want to help more people. That's why businesses exist, because they
Hmm.
solve the problems of people out in the world. And so you're not going to do it. This kind of probably goes against everything you'd say, but quite often the branding on posts needs to be super pared back. So make it not look like an ad. The danger is on a
Absolutely. Yeah.
company page that it can look
Hmm.
like an ad. And what do we do? Scroll.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's true. And then I love the point that you said, and I say this all the time, businesses, we're here to solve a problem.
Mm,
How do I solve the problem? The big how. And for
mm,
you, I'm going to toot your own horn a little bit. And you said you're bad about this. Like, okay, you're the authority. And that's what you're telling me. The company pages are a way to show your authority in your industry.
mm-hmm.
You could have a post, which I'm sure you're going to do upcoming about your amazing company page course that's coming out. So, if
Absolutely.
I'm following you, I've been tasked to run this for my company. I don't know how. Just someone show me. Boom, your course. See what I did there?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love it. And I'll pay you for that one later. But that's the thing, right? So people follow my page because they want tips on how to get the most out of company pages. But by
Mhm.
the time I do, a few posts every week over the space of a year, do you have that much time to, catch up on all of my content? Most likely. But you could spend 2 hours with me and I can do all of that and download. And, for some people, that's what they're looking for. Quite often, company pages become somebody's task because they were posting some stuff on their personal profile and the boss said to them, oh, you're using LinkedIn, can you just do this as well? And all of a sudden you're like, what, how did I become the company page person?
Yes,
And I'm sure
exactly.
there's lots of people, or you own a business and then all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, I know I should be on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
but, and that's kind of where my business fills that next sentence. You don't
Absolutely.
have the time or you don't have the resources, but being invisible is not an option in 2021 and beyond. Like,
Absolutely. That's the problem I solve is obscurity. So, um,
absolutely.
we are like so hand in hand. Well, this is just such great advice. So the 3, 2, 1, you can't go wrong. That really plants in my brain. That's a good hook
Yeah.
there, good lesson. And you can actually sort of use that in your profile page too, somewhat, a little
Yeah.
bit. So, well,
Absolutely.
good. This is all just a great overview. So I want to always like, let's look at our time. We have about 7 minutes. If we were going, any last things on content or anything before I ask you your top 3 takeaways and your other things?
Yeah. Look, for me, it's about don't forget if you don't take action on the company page, and it's going to take some time to build, right? I want to set some
Hmm.
expectations. If you started today because we said so, then it's going to take you around 6 months to start seeing any kind of
Yes.
hints of likes and comments. Don't give up too early. Like there's so many pictures I've seen, where the miners been mining for so long and about to like find the diamonds on the other side, but gives up and walks away. Like that's the main problem that happens with company pages.
Mhm.
So, just keep going. This is an asset built over time, just like you, and it will take time to build. So don't give up too early is the number one thing that I would say to people.
Well, that's really good because you start like a brand. You start now to build your brand. It doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely.
Same
Yeah.
thing. One other thing I want to ask you before you tell me your next one. You got to have an audience for it. So we got to
Yeah.
remind people to use those 100 invites every month, right?
Absolutely. And we're on, almost at the end of the month. So LinkedIn helps you to build a page by giving you 100 invite credits each month. Use those targeted filters. Okay. So one of the mistakes that I find is people just go in and invite the first 100 people that LinkedIn suggests.
Mhm.
If your business operates by geography, then target it by geography. It is better
Mhm.
to have fewer followers in your niche targeted community who are going to be super interested in your content than having a million followers that have got zero interest. Because what happens is when you do a post, it will go out to people who aren't interested, they won't engage, and it won't go to the people that are interested. So it's not a numbers game. Of course we're building it, and of course, like the more targeted community we build that's bigger, the more chance you have of new business. The other thing I just wanted to keep in mind is if you don't do this, your competitors are going to, and they will own the space
Good point.
and you will get left behind. So even if you can't see it for your business right now, and I encourage people, if at any point you think in the future you're going to be selling your business, you need a company page following so you can hand that over as an asset as part of
Absolutely.
the sale, right? And you can't do that on your personal profile. I can't give all of my amazing contacts to someone else just because they buy my business, but I can assign, the Good Trading Co company page and the followers to them.
That's a
So
great point. So it's like building or planting a tree too. You got to build, want a beautiful tree, plant it now because it will over time. And, I'm
yeah,
knowing this too because I made the mistake. I have a personal page, company page, and then I started one for my consultancy, and which was so stupid.
yeah.
Don't have two company pages. What was I thinking?
Look,
But I'm building it is proving to be, something I'm working on, and it doesn't
mm,
happen overnight, but it is growing steadily. But it's
mm.
not like yours, but yours grew fast, and I think because you are
Well,
the
it took
company
time
page
though,
person.
right?
Yeah.
I just want to like it did take time. So it's growing fast now, right? So I'm just over 1,000 followers. And I made a mistake going back about 18 months ago when I first set my business up. I was going to go down a different path. So what did I do? I started building it and then I pressed delete and I got rid of mine. So, we've all
Oh,
been there, right? So I had to restart again just in December, just before we just met. I had to
mhm.
restart again. And again, I made mistakes and I can share them and I share them openly so that people know
Yeah.
that it's just to keep going. And so what happened was it took me about 6 months. I was beginning to wonder if I was going crazy because I couldn't find the right type and format of content that resonated with people. And
Mhm.
when I finally refined that, I listened, watched, observed what was working and did other things on my personal side to build up my company. So now everyone knows Michelle is Good Trading Co. Michelle is Company Pages. Good Trading Co. is Company Pages, and Good Trading Co. is Michelle. So, I have this like box thing going on where
Yep.
that's what I want everyone to be associated. But it was starting from scratch. Like it's hard. Like I am not going to sit here and sugarcoat things. But it does pay off over time, right? Because it's like
Mhm.
concentrated pools. So,
What else would you be doing? I mean, that's why I say build your brand. It's gonna happen anyway. You might as well
yeah,
it takes a good 6 months to a year to get that 100%. And for you, I think it was a good 6 months. Like, oh, I
yeah.
kept saying your stars are rising,
Yeah.
your star it just like you start getting mentioned, and that is the power of visibility, consistency, authority, all the things. You just kept plugging at it, showing
Yeah.
up no
And
matter
the
what, you
the
know?
biggest lesson that you taught me was to stay in my niche because when it
Yes.
was super quiet and no one else was interested in company pages and I was up against it, I wanted to go where it was easier, more popular, be a LinkedIn trainer, write some profiles, like go down, expand my lane. And then if I'd done that, and thank you, everybody listen to Michelle, like what she says works, and I can personally speak to it because if I had gone off course, it
Yes.
wouldn't be paying off for me like it is now. I wouldn't be writing a book, on business, on company pages, like these kind of things and opportunities wouldn't be coming to me if I was just everything to everyone. So make your company
Absolutely.
page just laser focused on who it is that your ideal clients are. Have a look at your existing customers. Is there a recurring theme? Are they all males? Are they business sizes of a particular size? Do they come from a geography? Like, the more that you look at what you're doing now and the more you focus on that, then you just replicate it. This isn't your business offline and your business on LinkedIn. Like, it's so important for me to say to people, they're the same. Don't try and
Absolutely.
be LinkedIn version of your business. Just be you. And so being personal, photos of employees, photos of yourself doing stuff behind the scenes, that's the great way to get things
Just like
moving.
you would be the company old-fashioned bulletin board or something, just putting all those
Yeah.
pictures and stuff like when you were in the cafeteria,
The
Yeah.
McDonald's employee of the month, they had that for a reason,
Yeah.
and Brenda Meller, shout out to her. She, her best performing post on her Meller marketing page was actually, she did a joke post around her being employee of the month, but it was to highlight that that's what a company page can do, is highlight employees, because
Yeah.
if you want them to get involved, then build them
Highlight
up,
them. Yeah.
give them a
Humanize
reason.
them. I love that. That's so good. Well, that's one of my things. When you really want to know something, I'm a big researcher. Go out and find, and maybe you can, not really here now, or maybe you can give us some top ones to follow that would really be good. I mean, keep in mind, you got to work with what's you, but some examples of
Mm.
ones that are not just promo, promo, promo. What would you say?
Yeah. So I mentioned at the top Netflix as a
Hmm.
great example of a company page. Now, not for the reasons that you probably think. And what I love about it, so they're doing it to attract top employees. Like, they're not on there to get more customers for the most part.
Hmm.
They're there to get the best talent, which is another important reason that people
Hmm.
have company
Yes.
pages, to attract the right kind of people to work for them. But what they do really well is they tie their corporate values to the shows that they put out and show what it's like to work at Netflix.
Mm,
And they've got something like, it's just under 9 million followers or something like that. So it's
that's huge.
huge.
Yeah.
So that's at that end. I said Gong is another
Gong. Yep.
example. I really love the Shield page just because of the way
Hmm.
that they interplay between their personal and their company. Come follow Good Trading Co. Like, of course, like, if you want to see like what's going on for pages, come and follow my page and you can see what I do. It doesn't have to be as serious as what people think. So the line between personal content and page content is so blurred. And I would say, to make it more successful, make that line disappear altogether. So the
Mm,
style that you
perfect.
do things, just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So everyone I'll drop the link after. Follow Michelle's page if you want the advice, if you're worried about or need to learn how to
Yeah.
manage your page and all that. Well, that's good. Well, you've given us so much. We hit those three and all those probably 20
Not yet.
things you gave us. I feel like we're getting
Sorry.
mini training. No, I love it because I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know about her course, but this is like a teaser on what it
I
probably,
know.
but you gave
Look,
us so much great value. Thank you. That's awesome.
just remember, the LinkedIn are pouring so much into pages right now, and there's all new features. So if you haven't had a look this year, it's time to go back and start building, because over time you're going to be surprised at how much it can help on both sides.
Absolutely. So get that company page going. Now, Michelle, before we end today, I want to ask you two things. First, what is your professional or personal mantra that you can share that's related to today's topic or business or anything that inspires you?
Look, it's not quite related, but it does inspire me. And I think there's a good lesson that my mum gave me when I was around 17 and causing her grief. And the
Mhm.
lesson she gave to me then, which I didn't listen to, but I listen to right now, is, Michelle, if you hang out with garbage, you're going to smell like it. So
Hmm.
I realize now that the people and the quality of the people that I hang out with on LinkedIn, what makes me a better person. And so I go the other way. I'm like, how can I hang out with the best of the best to be a better person, a better business?
Love it.
And this is why people like you are in my network. And I'm extremely grateful, because,
Hmm.
by default, like, I've learned so much about branding in the last 12 months. I didn't even think about it. I come from a sales background. So, I'm a super fan. So,
Thank you.
choose those people you spend time with on the platform wisely.
Hmm. That is life advice too, and life in general. So great advice. Well, Michelle,
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Your star has risen and this keeps rising from when we met. a year
Yeah.
ago. I mean, because good things are coming out. Tell us real quick what's coming out and where can we find you? I'm super excited.
I
Everyone
gotta
know.
tell you that my co-authored book with Lynette Johnston from New Zealand is coming out on LinkedIn company pages specifically. So it's called Business Gold. So it's about building awareness, authority, and advantage with company pages. We think it's a world first. Nobody's come out to say otherwise. That's focused specifically on getting started on company pages. So that comes out 19th of November, my time, which is 18th of November in the US.
Mhm.
It's my birthday. So everybody,
Oh my
please
goodness.
buy the book on the 18th of November, your time. And we've got launch parties coming up. So yeah, I'm super excited and proud of what we've put together to help people get started. So it's another way that, I just wanted to be of service to businesses because, in my heart of hearts, this is why I do it, and you talk about why. I want businesses to be successful so that they can employ more people so that this world is a better place. Because if you have a purpose and you have money, then life is so much easier. So
That's
yeah, I
perfect.
wish everybody in their business success in this year and beyond.
That's perfect way to wrap up the show and this year. And then the perfect way, that reason why your name of your business is Good Trading Co. So
Yeah.
Michelle's got great stuff, good stuff all around. So go follow her. And Michelle, I can't thank you enough. I mean, this is your second time being on the Business of You, the video version. You were on the audio
Mm.
version, but I can't thank you enough. And I'm so glad we finally got it to work out. So that being said, you'll have to come again later and give us some more lessons on social selling and engagement. I know that's another thing in your wheelhouse. So
It's the brand, the synergies have come from both of us. Get the most out of the platform.
it's
And so,
exactly.
yeah, I've loved sharing that today with your audience. So thanks
Well,
heaps.
great. Well, thank you guys, thank you everyone for spending time with us either live or in the replay. I value your time and I thank you. And as always, I will be back with another episode next month. I've got two great people again who are part of the original 365 challenge. And these are people who
Wow.
started January 1st building their brand with zero following, zero anything. They didn't know what they were doing. They just got on and I said, hey, you want to post every day? And 300, almost 300 people are doing the 365. I really don't know how many are still active, but these two people are. We're going to come in. It's going to be closer to the end of the year. We're going to talk about their success so you too can build your brand and build your brand on LinkedIn. So I'm super excited to have them as my guests next month. So Michelle, thanks again, and we will chat soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. We definitely need more impactful entrepreneurs like you out there. So if you'd like to learn more about how I can help you build your personal brand to grow your business, please check out yourbrandyourbusiness.com. And until next time, you have a brand to build, a message to share, and people to impact. Now go put yourself out there and watch the business of you grow.